Yo, Eamon, this is Nada calling from the fucking mountains of Tennessee, as you call them. I was just listening to the archives to the show where you and Melody Moody were talking about the chickens in her yard. And you're right, you can beat the hell out of the dog with the chicken once the dog kills the chicken to get it to leave the fucking chickens alone. But what really works is after you beat the shit out of the dog with the chicken, take a piece of rope, tie the chicken to the dog, leave it there for a day so dead chickens fall everywhere. Dog will never fuck with chickens ever again.
I'd like to say one thing to you, FNA Show and Eamon. I am not a douche. I do not accept douche cards. Do not now, have never, and will never from you or anyone else. Goodbye.
Welcome to FNA 17. A lot of people have been asking me, hey Eamon, where's the next show? Hey Eamon, it's been a while since you put up a show. Hey Eamon, what's the holdup? Hey Eamon, everything okay? You know, people want consistency in a podcast. Hey Eamon, do you have a certain time you do a show on? So maybe you can get yourself in a routine, certain day of the week, maybe? Hey Eamon, do you want to talk about it? You must not be feeling well with life and stuff since you haven't made a new show in like a month or more. Hey Eamon, don't succumb to the dark side. Hey Eamon, life's worth it, don't give up. Hey Eamon, I love the show, but could you make more of them? Hey Eamon, I want to be on the show with you, but I really don't have anything worthwhile to say, and I really don't know what I would be doing, and I'm pretty much a noob when it comes to podcasts, and I don't even listen to your FNA show as it is, and I'm not even willing to call FNA's 24-hour hotline and leave a message. What do you think? And other miscellaneous things of this nature. And to these I say with a whole and loving heart, let's just all be coachable, okay? Can we do that? Can we enter into a degree of loving coachability so we can all just get along and not bitch and moan about things that we don't have control over and that we don't really know what we're talking about necessarily? Can we do that? For me, it's my birthday today. That's my birthday wish. Let's all be coachable and not be fucking douchebags. I realize there's been quite the gap in space-time as we know it between FNA 16 and 17, but you know what? As Tom York would say, everything is in its right place, people. Be fucking coachable. I added the coachable part, but Tom York probably wouldn't say that, but, you know, that's what he meant, I think. I'm pretty sure it's what he meant. The wait has been a necessary one. You know, it's been a necessary wait. Just don't be a douche about it. It's kind of like, you know, when you're in high school and about to graduate and everybody's encouraging you to take the ACT, SAT, a whole shitload more times than you really want to because you get to keep whatever the highest score you make is. And then, you know, it's like your guidance counselor talks to your class, and she's like, now there are $14 quadrillion worth of unclaimed scholarships every year, so I want you to all apply for 200 different scholarships so you can get a lot of money for free and attend the college you want to go to so that you can support the family you're going to start as soon as you graduate with a scholarship in Douche 4.0 and start to work in your new perfect job behind the desk that those biology labs prepared you for and stuff like that. Remember, it's only as a result of playing it safe and following your brainwashed heart and filling out these 200 million scholarship applications that you'll be able to live averagely ever after in mediocre America. And then, you know, it's like everybody in your family at that time is asking you what you're going to study and what you're going to major in and what you're going to do with your life. And instead of thinking about it and constructively examining your strengths and weaknesses and interests and boredoms, you know, you tell them that you're going to be a doctor, you're going to be a lawyer, you're going to be a teacher, you're going to be an engineer, because that's what's expected. That's what they want to hear. And then you're going to go smoke some pot and play video games because you're in high school. That's how high schoolers roll, you know. Fabricating a reality to cover uncertainty is much easier to handle than the truth. Okay? Well, from conception through at least today, September the 12th, 07, FNA has been a high schooler, trudging, sometimes with style, the halls of a university, sometimes not. Having forgotten both the room number 2 and the name of the class he's now 13 minutes late for. And thus he entered a bathroom instead. And he's been sitting on a toilet for the past month, consciously and unconsciously examining where he came from and where the hell his class was supposed to meet. A degree of coachability came to him about 18 days ago, in which he realized that life is symmetry. The Fibonacci sequence is wicked, badass, and eternal. That after simmering for varying amounts of time, everything in life will boil down to coachability. And that while perhaps Dumbledore had accomplished many great things in life and death, and was hailed by many as the most powerful wizard ever, that upon closer examination, Gandalf was in fact the greater of the two. Gandalf was actually brought back from death to accomplish the things that he did. The debate of most powerful wizard comes into question when faced with the facts of how many were justly and actually slain in the staff of the two profound individuals. Dumbledore was able to accomplish much without himself really spilling all that much blood, while Gandalf never balked from stepping up to the plate and doing what needed doing. As a result, he's viewed as the harsher of the two often. But damn it, I salute you for stepping up to the plate. Need more people to be coachable and step up to the fucking plate. Alright? Upon thinking about this particular matchup for many days and nights on his porcelain throne, our high school FNA hero came to the realization that putting himself in the pages of both histories, the man he would most wish to be a friend to and follower of would most assuredly be Gandalf. The pull of certain adventure and grave dangers was too much to sacrifice for the kinder and at least as wise Dumbledore. And as this truth came to the surface and settled into factual evidence, he sat for still longer, but was not troubled by how many classes he continued to miss, the fact that he still didn't know where they were, or by the cursings he received by the occasional janitor. No. It had come time to reflect and plan, to devise the methods for pushing forward from the quagmires of the middle of the road. He realized that the day was soon coming when his stall of a home would be entirely insufficient. But first, it was necessary to spend these last days, hours, and minutes thinking on all he had neglected to give thought to previously. And as time crept by more and more quickly, the last day of contemplation arrived, and he knew it was finished. For 2 days already, he had been feeling restless, eager to be free from the Loo prison that began as a sanctuary. With the squeaking that only metal on metal scraping can produce, he unlatched his stall's lock and took 2 timid steps forward. Eyeing with skepticism his face in the mirror, hoisted directly in front of him, he frowned. He had expected to see an unkempt head of dirty, scraggly hair, followed by bloodshot eyes and a skeletal frame. Instead, he was rudely greeted by the same calloused but slightly more informed eyes that led the way into the bathroom what seemed like a year previous. Shoving his hands in his pockets and shrugging indifferently at himself as he turned away from the sinks and toward the door, he strode with purpose toward his lab 2 doors down. 20 minutes late is better than nothing, he spoke out loud but quietly as he put his phone back in his pocket after checking the time. Opening the door and plastering pessimism back on his face, a smile crept inside him as his professor scowled at him before continuing. As I was saying, more is constantly being revealed to us through examination and questioning. Yeah, that's kind of where FNA has been lately. Sitting on a toilet. It's time to try to evolve some more, and therefore, welcome to FNA 17, the douche, the noob, and the coachable. Rest assured, FNA will never be a doctor, lawyer, teacher, or engineer by profession and singleness of purpose only. More is being revealed. The 7 forms of greeting brought to you by FNA. Hey, hi, howdy, hello, what's up, salutations and solutions. You're listening to the FNA show. I'd like to tell you about my little trip yesterday. While breaking the girl by the Red Hot Chili Peppers screamed from my car, I eased down Ridgewood Road at 28 miles per hour. The 15-mile-an-hour school zone being a little bit too ridiculous to follow wholeheartedly. Hey, at least I wasn't going over the real speed limit like usual, and the only difference at 2:21 in the afternoon yesterday was that buses were lined up on an adjacent street and cars were sitting in my right lane waiting to turn into the school street when the parking lot it held was able to move forward some. Granted, I do always forget to take the whole school zone thing into consideration when I have an appointment to keep, which requires travel on good old bumpy-ass, run-down, patched up, but still full of potholes Ridgewood Road. And yesterday was no exception. even as I raised the bar here with my little daring 28-mile-an-hour risking arrest and endangering the lives of theoretical school children crossing the street maneuverings. Still, I was held back from my target arrival time by 2 freaking minutes. Granted, this was quite definitely the closest to on time I had been in probably 3 years. It still irritates me greatly. Damn it, I just prefer to be on time for shit, and I expect others to be as well. I feel like a noob when I'm late for something, regardless of its level of importance in my daily life. It was important enough for me to go there, and that's all that really matters. Okay? Do you follow, everybody? Makes sense to me. The problem with feeling like a noob, for me, is that I'm not, you know? I think of noobs as being on the same level of intelligence and consciousness as the orange pylons lining the racetracks in Gran Turismo. A, number one, they're items in a fucking video game, people. And B, number two, they're modeled after inanimate, real-world objects that exist to be run over by fast-moving vehicles. That's not a good thing to be on the same level as. And when I feel like a pylon from Gran Turismo, I feel like a douche. And as one of my primary life goals is to not be a douche, that's quite the conflict of interest. This problematic feeling was heightened when I opened the dentist door where I was supposed to be at 2 minutes previous to see my dental hygienist lounging behind the front desk waiting on her next appointment. That would be me. I sprinted into my regular room in the hopes that I might act like I'd been there a couple of minutes already and therefore on time. But as she called out, "Hello, Eamon," to my back, I was acutely aware of the stupidity of that plan. Dentists have eagle vision. For the second time, I felt like a douche. I believe that I was pretty coachable, at least during the cleaning. I judged this by how many times she has to tell me to bite down or turn my head left or right or up, down, or shit like that. I kept up pretty well on my own, I believe. It even pointed out for a possible cavity spot that we concurred on later to be where a previous filling had fallen out. I have still much to learn myself when it comes to being coachable, but it also occurred to me that the coachability I was striving for was in part, if not entirely, for the sake of balancing out my feelings of douchiness on the way there. Thus, life is symmetry. You're listening to the FNA show. We support squirrel hunting and golf ball spinning. It's been pointed out to me via emailage from Scott of the kick-ass band The Panderers that he and his wife had a revelation the other day while doing a little bit of banking. They needed, for the sake of, I assume, time and hassle, to utilize ye old drive-through window of their banking establishment. As they approached the pivotal moment when they were forced to choose a lane, they were, I believe, through divine intervention, guided into the ATM lane rather than the human window lane. Apparently, they collected their thoughts afterwards and realized that it's quite simply easier to depend on the close-to-infallible computer for service rather than put your mood and money in the hands of a fault-prone person who could very well screw something up, be rude to you, be a noob at their job, or turn a simple transaction into a 10-minute quest for the right button. All in all, if the operator of the ATM is not a friggin' dumbass, it is definitely the most efficient and stress-free solution to many, and I would dare say most, everyday banking endeavors. As I read their simple email, highlighting the events that transpired on that fateful day, I came to the same conclusions as they did themselves, and also realized that for quite some time I have operated under the same principles without ever really examining them closely. The only time I deal with a human at the bank, when all goes well, is when I deposit money, and even then I do not go to the drive-through window. It just has an air of foreboding and of mistakes waiting to happen every time I think about it and consider the possibility, the option of driving through and doing my banking from the car. You know, I'd rather stand in front of a teller, physically hand them my money and watch them than have bulletproof glass and scratchy sounding speakers between us. You know, I'm willing to go the extra couple yards of parking, getting out of my car, and walking a little bit, and going into a building, putting forth a little bit more effort. What I'm talking about is coachability, folks, and stepping it up just a bit. I'm willing to do that in these banking scenarios, and I would encourage you to try the same. Be coachable. While I've experienced countless cases of douchey electronic equipment behavior, every ATM I can remember utilizing has been quite exceptionally coachable, and therefore I award ATMs everywhere with a coachability ranking of 8.5 out of 10 and salute all of y'all's efforts to balance out the moods of human tellers. Minus 1.5 points for general lack of style. Life is symmetry. This is the FNA show. It occurred to me about half an hour ago as I was driving home from school that roundabouts are the most coachably constructed thing on the roads as we know them today. The problem is, and this goes back to symmetry, that there are so freaking many people out there that don't know what the fuck they're doing, that when they encounter a roundabout, they do not see the device to their driving freedoms. They see a confusing, complex circle with no stoplights telling them what to do. And the problem with this is that people are left to decide for themselves what to do. And the problem with that is that people left to decide things for themselves more often than not choose the incorrect decision, as is the case almost every time I encounter a roundabout that is busy and filled with people driving their cars. It's not that they are too stupid to comprehend and are incapable of comprehending what to do. They just don't wish to think for themselves and figure it out. And, you know, part of the fault lies in the fact that there are very few roundabouts around, at least here in Mississippi, the great hot, sticky, sucky state. That has something to do with the fact that people are just completely at a loss for doing anything positive when they get to these places. I'd like to see more of them. You know, my birthday wish, as I said, is a quest for coachability on all levels of human existence. And I think that as a result of building more roundabouts and constructing these, we could do a couple different things. First of all, it would eliminate some of the traffic clutter. They're more efficient than stoplights. And secondly, it would help people to see how better to be coachable once they get used to using these and they're not noobs at it anymore. So, I hope we get to see some more roundabouts. And my prayers are with all those out there that don't yet know how to use them properly. Get off your goddamn Bluetooth and drive the car right. Okay. All right, folks, that's it. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to go out in the coming weeks into your lives, into your jobs, among your family, among your friends, and be a more coachable person. Let's be a more coachable race as a whole. You know, we as humans have slowly declined in coachability evolution, and we need to fucking step it back up. Everything boils down to coachability, folks. And we need to work on that. So, don't be a douche. Be coachable. Life is symmetry. This is the FNA show. Back in business. Pants out. FNA show out. Amen out. And yes, Brianna, you are on the show. How does it feel? There's no background music and stuff, though, so you're kind of singled out. Yeah. There you have it. Welcome to the FNA show. All right. It's awkward talking now without anything happening in the background, so that's all. Bye.